Welcome back to our show. We just had a little bit of technical difficulty, and went to a commercial, and I've got to redraw everything. Sorry about that, everybody.
They probably fast forwarded through that part.
Yeah, I probably did because I'm so boring.
Yeah, you are.
All right. Y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 4. M is equal to negative 3/2. Is that 2/3? Oh, I'm sorry. 2/3. And my green is going to be M is equal to negative 2/3.
No, you're supposed to put M sub 2 is.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can put M or M sub 2. It doesn't matter. M sub 2. So that just means your second. That means the second slope and the third slope. You don't have to make it M sub 2. It's just up to you what you want to make it. M sub 3 or M is equal to 3/2. And we have 0, negative 14, and
So on perpendicular lines, you always do the reciprocal.
opposite reciprocal for perpendicular. Oh, I forgot to write that rule again. Parallel line, M sub 1 is equal to M sub 2.
Parallel
And perpendicular lines, M sub 1 times M sub 2 is equal to negative 1. Therefore, M sub 2 is your opposite what?
reciprocal.
Reciprocal. The opposite sign and the reciprocal. So if this was negative 2/3, this is going to be 3/2. If this was positive 4, this would be negative 1/4. If this was negative 1/3, this would be positive 3. And now you just do what you've been taught. Y minus negative 14 is equal to negative 2/3 times x minus 0. Y plus 14 is equal to negative 2/3 x, and y is equal to negative 2/3 x minus 14.
From on top, is that x minus 1?
Hmm?
When you were doing the y minus.
X minus 0. And the orange would be y minus negative 14 is equal to 3/2 times x minus 0. Y plus 14 is equal to 3/2 x. Y is equal to 3/2 x minus 14. Now, what does the problem ask for?
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular, so here is your answer. Now, the reason I tell students to use both the parallel and the perpendicular is it gives you extra practice for each problem. For each problem, you're doing an additional problem. Because if they ask you for parallel, you're doing an extra what? I mean, perpendicular, you're doing an extra what? Parallel. If they ask you for parallel, you're doing an extra what? Perpendicular. And it gives you extra practice. And that's how you do that. So let's do another one because I know y'all probably sent a couple of these because I didn't cover it in the review the other day. Okay, good. So I'm going to go to the next problem and see which problem y'all sent me. And that'll be 3.75 41/10. Let's see if that one's like it. No, this one is find an equation of a line. So we'll do that one, and then we'll go back and do another one. So this one says, and I gave you the, let me get the number again. I'm sorry. This is 3.7 41/10. 3.7 41/10, and it disappeared, went away. Okay, I guess I'll just pull it up again. Find an equation of the line having the specified slope and contain the indicated point. So, what do they give you?
Give you the slope.
They give you a point and a what?
Slope.
So you use the,
Well, do they give you the slope? Because it says m equals, and then it's
what is m?
slope. I didn't see the column.
M is equal to -7/8, and then what is it in between there? A semicolon, meaning, okay, that's the slope. What's after the slope? A point. What is it? No. That's me for lunch. I'll give you half of it when I eat it, okay? Y minus parentheses is equal to parentheses times x minus parentheses. Because I've told you, and this is something that I do, and I have several degrees, I still do this. When you ask me this question, I will do it just like this. Because negatives and fractions will get you on this problem. Okay, so what goes in this spot?
One.
And what goes here?
-7/8.
And what goes here?
X. -3.
See? There's one of those negatives. And if you don't put parentheses, it'll get you. Did it? It'll get you. So y minus 1 is equal to -7/8 x. Well, I'm going to write -7/8 times x what? Mm-hmm. And see, if you don't do this correct, when you distribute that negative, it's going to make it even more incorrect. So y minus 1 is equal to -7/8 x minus 21/8.
Well, okay, where'd you get the 1 from when you did the y?
Y minus what? What is the formula?
Y minus y squared.
Okay. Which way do we read it?
That's right.
So this is x of 1 and this is what? Plug and shove. Okay, now I'm going to bring this -1 over. But when I bring it over here, I'm not going to use -1. What am I going to use? Yeah, I'm going to use +1, but I'm not going to use 1. I'm going to use what?
1/8.
Not 1 over 8.
8/1.
8 over 8.
What?
What's anything over itself?
One.
Okay. Common denominators. Good job. Gotta have a common denominator.
Got it.
Because I always get that question, where do 8 come from? Yes, sir.
So on the top, you just multiply that 3 to 7.
Yeah, because this is 3 over what?
3 over 4.
Always do that if you have to. When you multiply a whole number times a fraction, make that whole number a fraction, because that way you won't get confused. And your final answer is y is equal to negative 7/8 x minus, I have no idea, 13/8.
Yes.
And that is your final answer. Okay? All right, let's do a nerd. I ain't forgot about the parallel and perpendicular. I want to make sure I cover everybody's questions before we go back and do repeats.
But in the point, when they give you the point, it's a 5.
What do you mean?
I thought the points on the last one was -3, 5.
There's the problem we just did.
Yeah.
Negative 3, comma 1.
Oh, so one, okay, never mind, makes sense.
Okay, the next one that I've been sent is, that's 3.74911. Okay, this is 4911. Next problem on your homework. All right, try that one. 4 and 7, that's your point. And then x plus 4y is equal to 3. X plus 4y is equal to 3. Uh-oh. They don't give us a point and a slope. They give us a point and an equation. So what do you got to find? The slope, Hubert. That's right. Because it's the point-slope equation. Well, our point is 4, 7. What do we not have? We don't have a slope, so we got to find the slope. X plus 4y is equal to 3. How do we find the slope? How do we find the slope? Get y by itself.
But couldn't you just look at it and be like, there's nothing in front of X, so.
Well, no. Can't do that because you got to divide through by 4 to get y by itself. So 4y is equal to negative x plus 3, divide by 4, divide by 4. So y is equal to negative 1/4 x plus 3/4. And what's our slope? And now, you've got what you need. You've got a point and a what? Slope. Remember me telling you, you've got to have a point and a what? Slope. If you don't start the problem off with a point and a slope, you're going to have to get a point and a slope.
So if you had to graph this, you would graph 4.7, and then you would look at the 3/4 and go,
No. We don't even talking about graphing this. But if you was to graph it, you would plug in points right here, y by itself. Yeah, you would do 3/4, plot 3/4, be a negative slope, which means left to right down, and then 1 up, 4 over, 1 up, 4 over, 1 down, 4 over, 1 down, 4 over.
okay, so since 3/4 is the y-intercept,
But it's going to be a mess because it's a fraction.
but you wouldn't do like 3 up, 4 over?
All right, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to move this over. It's not going to let me, but. Now, what did it do a while ago when I clicked on one digit?
But can't you make it bigger? And
It did the whole thing. And I asked the guy, when he came and did this with me, I said, why do you click on one thing one time? And he said, I don't know. He said, I never noticed that. I said, well, it doesn't.
but I thought those were supposed to be simple things where it's gonna make it bigger.
Yeah, it'll make it bigger like this.
Um,
That's all it'll do. I want to move it over. Usually it does the whole thing. See? Now that one did 2 lines. Okay, so now we got a point and a slope. So that's part 1. Finding the slope. Now we've got a point and a slope. 4, 7, and m is equal to negative 1/4. Y minus parentheses is equal to parentheses times x minus parentheses. And we're going to put a 7 here. We're going to put a 4 here. And we're going to put a negative 1/4 here. So y minus 7 is equal to negative 1/4 x plus what? Plus
Hold on, I'll type it in the computer.
You don't need to type it in the calculator. That is not a good
I was
answer.
checking my answer to make sure
Okay?
it's right.
What's 1/4 times 4?
What's the point?
1.
$1.99.
$1.06.
I'll present his answer.
Y is equal to negative 1/4 x, and 1 plus 7 is. And that's your answer. So this one had 2 parts. The first one we did before this one, hold on. That one only had 1 part. Why did this one have 1 part? I'm sorry, not this one. There. Wait a minute. Oh, I know why. Shut up. The one we did before, the problem gave you a point and a slope, so you didn't have to do anything. Remember me telling you, if it gives you a point and a slope, that's the easier of the 3. This one gave us a point and a what? It's not called the point equation. It's called the point what? Slope equation. You got to find the slope. And that's why here we found the slope by getting y equal to something. And that's what we did here. And then once we got y is equal to something, we could find the what? The slope. And then we put that slope beside the point slope equation, plug and chug. All right, let's see what else we got. 3.753/12. All right, try that one. And I will do both, parallel and perpendicular. This says through -3 and -5, parallel to 4x plus 3y is equal to 7.
We have to rewatch the video. He's like, oh my gosh, I can do 2 different times. It's great.
So the first thing I'm going to do is turn my pen on, draw my big table, and 4x plus 3y is equal to 7. And I got to write my parallel rule up here. Parallel, m sub 1 is equal to m sub 2. Perpendicular, m sub 1 times m sub 2 is equal to -1.
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
It's getting cold.
What?
I said it's getting cold. At first I was really hot, so.
Well, those two women right there are staring at something, so they must be staring at him saying, why is that child out here by himself? Here it is. Yep, I was right. Because there were two mamas down there, and they were doing like this. That must be him. Just went across there.
So it comes 17, which is short, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for judging me.
Yeah. All right. What's the next step here?
That's when you put the.
Solve for y.
You have to.
Solve for y. Why do you solve for y? Because you got to have what?
The slope.
Slope. So 3y, oops, 3y is equal to -4x plus 7. Y is equal to -4/3 x plus 7/3. M sub 1 is equal to -4/3.
Now, will that make a difference since the problem was actually 4x minus 3y instead of 4x plus 2y?
It's 4x plus 3y is equal to 7. So I bring the 4x over, it becomes -4x, and then divide by 2.
I've read the problem now.
Can we go over some of the graphing ones?
You want me to do it while I'm doing this at the same time, or what?
No, I'll just ask.
All right, so I'm going to take my green marker. Let me use a different color, because somebody in a minute's going to complain about the green. Huh?
It was.
I figured somebody was going to complain.
I didn't complain, I was just thinking.
I know. -3, -5, and m sub 2 is equal to what?
Maybe.
And we'll make the last one, we'll make it orange. So what's m sub 3?
For 3 over -4.
3/4, opposite sign, reciprocal. All right, y'all do the rest of it. He ride an elevator. He likes to ride the elevator. Did you bring the charger?
Crap.
Here. You'll have to sit up here and plug it up right over there.
Daddy, it's not dead yet.
Okay. Okay, go sit down.
What's that?
That's good.
Y minus parentheses is equal to parentheses bracket x minus parentheses. And what goes here? -5 and -4/3 goes here, and then -3 goes there. I'm not using purple, sorry. What's y minus the -5? -4/3 x minus 4. Now I skipped a couple of steps there, but let's check it. What's a negative times a negative?
Positive.
And what's +3 times -4/3?
Negative.
-4. The 3's cancel. Because that's 3/1.
Okay, but what -3 times a negative fraction make it a positive?
What's -3 times negative?
Positive.
What's +3 times -4/3?
Okay, so I was just.
-4. And now, y is equal to -4/3 x. -4 plus -5 is what? All right, so that's your your parallel line. I have no idea what they're asking for. I haven't looked. Don't want to look because I'm doing both. So there's parallel, and now let's do perpendicular. Y minus a -5 is equal to 3/4 times x minus a -3. Y plus 5 is equal to 3/4 x plus 9/4 and beating a dead horse. So y is equal to 3/4 x plus 9/4. I'm going to bring this 24th over. So what's 9 minus 20?
-1.
9 minus 20 is what? -11/4. That's your answer. The 5 is over what? 1. You got to have a common denominator. How many times will 1 go into 4? 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. So when I bring this 5 over, it changes into a 20-fourths because this is 9-fourths. And 9 minus 20 is negative 11. Now, what does the problem ask for?
Parallel.
Parallel, so your blue answer is the answer you're looking for. So I'm glad we did that problem, so that way that would reinforce the problem we did first. Alrighty, let's do a nerd. No sneezing in class.
Let's see.
3.757/13.
You have a work email.
That reminds me, I got to send an email. All right, try that one. And I'm going to freeze it so I can write an email to technical support before I forget. No coughing in class. Last time it locked down, didn't it? The Promethean, didn't it lock down and I had to unplug it a couple of times, didn't it? Yes, Hubert. Thank you, class. What's today? Wednesday? So that'd be Monday. Monday was the 16th, right?
Sometimes I would have to like extend
What did you say, Ms. Doug?
Sometimes I wish I could extend days.
Well, if you could do that, then that means you could extend time. And if you could extend time, you would be a very valuable asset to people. All right, Promethean sucks. Please fix it.
Don't forget to say prom.
I won't. All right. Now, for y'all's benefit, I'm going to. Oh, it's frozen. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do the parallel and the perpendicular. And close the windows. Sorry. Do we have to solve for y on this one? Yes. 2x minus 3y is equal to 4. Negative 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. Divide by negative 3. So y is equal to 2/3 x minus 4/3. So m sub 1 is equal to 2/3. Therefore, what's m sub 2?
2/3.
And m sub 3?
3 halves.
What?
3 halves.
What?
One and 1/2.
I said
Three
it twice.
Yeah, but you did say something else.
Negative 3 halves.
Negative 3 halves. And I'm making a big deal out of it because that'll make the problem wrong.
Okay.
I mean, totally wrong. Even
Yeah.
though you know what you're doing, it still makes it wrong because of the sign. So what's our point? 3 and 5? 3 and 5. That's parallel. And this is perpendicular. So y minus 5 is equal to 2/3 times x minus 3. Y minus 5 is equal to 2/3 x. What's 2/3 times negative 3? Negative 2, that's right, class. Y is equal to 2/3 x. What's negative 2 plus 5?
3.
And that's the parallel equation. Negative 3 halves times x minus 3. What's 9 halves plus 10 halves? And that's your perpendicular equation. Now they're asking, write one that is what? Perpendicular, so that's your answer. The answer that y'all typed in I don't think is correct, so we'll type it in and see what the answer is. -3 halves x plus (19/2). Nice word. You feel good about yourself. All right, let's move on and see if there's anything else review-wise, because we've already covered enough of those. I think y'all should have a good feeling on those. Let me see if there's any. This says 3.7, but that's the same. Find an equation of a line. Give it.
I meant to ask, since we're on 7.3, and then on the, handout that you gave us, it only says that 7.4 and 7.5 are going to be covered, and we're having another test. Does that mean we're having another test next week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're not going to extend it out for the full 2 weeks?
No, because we're gonna have the test whenever we finish the material. Hold on, I'm doing something else right now. Don't forget your question and I'll go back over it, okay? What chapter are we on? Because those are 5.6. Okay, I'm looking for 7. I'm seeing if there's any more. Chapter 3. What section is the graphing section?
3.7. Do you want
Okay.
me to send you one real quick?
Yeah, send me one right quick. That way I don't have to look for it. Because I need to take the roll while y'all are working on this problem.
Okay.
This is 3.717/3. Okay, now let me go ahead and explain something to y'all about the directions for graphing. And this is any math class that you're in. Graph using coordinates, ordered pairs, or points. All right, when you see those directions, graph using coordinates, graph using ordered pairs, graph using points, which method are you going to use? When you see the directions, graph using coordinates, graph using ordered pairs, graph using points. There's 3 sets of directions. What method do you use?
Points ladder?
Nope.
No, the coordinates.
Chart block. Method 1.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Method 1. So put method 1 here. Graph using the intercepts, or it may say the X and Y intercepts. When you see this set of directions, which method are you going to use?
Intercept method.
Exactly, the intercept method, method 2. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, in my homework and on my test, if you don't use the method that you're supposed to use, even though you get the line correct, it's still wrong. because the computer is looking for you to plot that X and Y intercept, and if you go up there in quadrant 1 and plot 2 or 3 points, and you're not putting the X and Y intercept, it's going to mark it wrong. And I'm glad it does that, because we do not, I've told you this before, we do not have different methods to make you mad. We have different methods because it saves time.
You have a work email.
That's probably the help deals. All right. Well, what about the third method? The third method will be saying graph using the y-intercept and what? And slope. Or slope and y-intercept. And when you see those directions, you use method what?
3.
Method 3. With that gummit, Hubert, when can I use whatever method I want to? Whenever you see the word graph. So all of this is nice and dandy, but if you just see the word graph, and that's it, then what method can you use? Any that you choose. When you just see the word graph. And that's true in mostly all of your math courses. Now, question. Which method are you going to use here? What does it say? It says graph, doesn't it?
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. But first, you got to simplify, because right now it's in the point slope equation. They want you to simplify it first. So simplify that one. Y minus 4 is equal to negative 4 times parentheses x minus 6. Y minus 4 is equal to negative 4 times x minus 6. Why do they give you this type written like that? Because they want you to have extra practice with simplifying the point slope equation. So distribute the what? And that gives you y minus 4 is equal to negative 4x plus 24. Y is equal to negative 4x. What's 24 plus 4?
28.
There is your equation, and now you use whatever method you want to. So go ahead and do that.
Did you not divide by negative 4 to finish it out?
No, you got y by itself. Remember, your priority is y in graph, not x.
Okay, I see now.
Okay. So use whatever method you want to. I would not use the intercept method. Somebody tell me why. Y is too big. Your y-intercept is too big. The y-intercept is what? 28. What does your graph go up to? So I would not use method 2. I would use method 1 or 3. And I would not use method 3 because, again, the y-intercept is too what? It's too big. So that leaves us with method 1.
And method 3 is the building a line.
Mhm. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. What's negative 2 times negative 4?
Positive 8.
And what's 8 plus 28?
You have a work email.
Negative 4, that's 4 plus 28 is what? 0 plus 28 is, you see a pattern? You're subtracting what? So that'd be 24 and 20, and you can keep on going. What would 3 be? 16. What would 4 be? And you can keep going that way because your graph is going to be between 20. You need to at least have, you're going to use these points right here because your y, the highest point your y can go is 20. And how do you graph it? Well, you hit these two buttons right here. Wait a minute, clear. You hit these two, the button that has a straight line, because we haven't learned how to graph nonlinear. And I'm just going to pick 2 points, 2 and 20. 2 and 20. And look, they even give you a little box down here to make sure that you're on 2 and 20. I'm not on 2 and 20, so I need to fix it. And then make sure that thing says 2 and 20. And when it says 2 and 20, you hit the left button one time. And then do 3 and 16. There's 3. And there's my line. And that's how you do graphing. Alrighty, let me call the roll and stop everything. And then y'all should be good to go. Now this was a day of just going over homework problems, so I covered 7.1 through 7.3 the other day, so y'all should be continuing to work on 7.1 through 7.3 and review 3.6 and 3.7.